For fuck's sakes, you fucking kidding me? Hey everybody, it's Jerry from Bullshit Corner. Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to install the subs and amp in your BMW E46 car. And I'm going to show you how to install the subs and hook it up to your factory wiring harness, and also some screw-ups I made along the way. So stay tuned, watch this video, and hopefully this will get you up and going. Beer time. Alright, here are the rear speakers on the BMW E46, and I'm tapping into the wires with these style connectors. You just fold them over, crimp them, and they don't do any damage to the wiring. You don't have to splice them. And since they're not going to be exposed to moisture or anything else, they're perfect for doing stereo installs. Especially when you don't want to splice and solder. So you got to do that to both speakers. The other side is right here. I'm kind of in the trunk, being a fat bastard in the trunk. And then we're going to find the amplifier wire, and then we're going to get ready to hook it up. Fucking beer time! As I drool all over my fucking self. Tapped into the very top wiring harness where your speakers are, and they say you're not supposed to tap in there, and that in fact you're supposed to tap into the wiring harness where your amplifier is, but it seems to sound pretty good to me. It could also be the beer talking too. Alright, so now we're going to use the power probe to find the power antenna wire. How it works, if I connected this to the ground, it lights up green, says it's negative. Go to the positive, gives me plus 12.2 volts. Alright, now that I got this wiring harness fixed up, there's a white wire, it's all by itself. That's your amp turn on lead. And I got it connected to my power supply right there, or my power probe. So I turn on the vehicle that's there, so I'm going to go turn it on and see if I'm correct. Just like I said, with the ignition turned on, 7.8 volts. Alright, so we got the white wire in there. There's actually two white wires. I had to, unfortunately, make another splice because, and it didn't give me enough power for the amp. Even though I was saying 7 volts, this other white wire was giving me 10 volts. And it was enough to turn it on, so I tapped into that. So now I'm going to tape up these. And the amplifier is, if you're looking for the amplifier in your BMW, it's on the driver's side. And what you got to do is you go to remove the bolts for this, and there's a couple snap clips for this cover, and then a cover that fits on the bottom. You got to remove that and pull it aside like I did right here to get access to your amplifier right there. Alright, I kind of jumped ahead of myself and did a whole bunch of work. This is a pretty greasy install here. It's not very clean at all, but you're going to get the gist of it. Okay, your speaker wires tied into this high level to low level input, and those RCA jacks connect to the front of the amp, low level input of the amp. The power antenna wire came down and goes into the remote in there. The ground cable, I connected it up onto the frame below, and I left some slack because if I ever need to get the spare tire, I could drop the seats down in the front, push the whole sub box net through to get access to the spare tire and get it out. So I need some flexibility in that. And now we're ready to run the power wire from the battery to the capacitor. And I disconnected the negative battery. So we're going to run the positive first and then hook up the negative. Okay, so there we go. We got the capacitor wire built. And notice how I got my inline fuse here from the battery source. That's how I connected to the batteries. There's actually, fuck off, bad lighting. There's actually a nut there. I think this one is for your airbags maybe. I'm not sure what this wire is for, but anyways, you connect the power lead to this wire here. It makes it the easiest. Make sure you have your inline fuse. Looks like chicken shit, but if I need to take it out quickly, it's like 2 wires, boom, and I can pull the whole fucking thing out, so I don't really care. Alright, so right now we're powered up. The capacitor, it's got 12.2 volts going through it. No light on at the amplifier, so we know it's not automatically turning on. So I guess it's the, go to the ignition and try it out. Alright, so here we are inside. You can see it's hooked up to power. Light is on the amplifier now. No volume, of course, because of copyright issues if you decide to play music. Now obviously if you were going to keep this permanently mounted in your vehicle, you'd want to wire it a little bit cleaner. I just made this a temporary arrangement. I could easily just pop off the positive cable there. There's a ground up there, and then my power antenna, which I can just disconnect and throw underneath, and I can just slide the whole sub box out in like 5 minutes. Only because I'm not a big fan of the subs. And of course when the car's turned off, the power capacitor gives you your voltage, and of course the amplifier's off. And then that'll fade out in a few minutes. Just like it just did. Anyways, that was a quick fucking painful video of installing an amp and subs into your BMW E46. Some people had requested, so I had some old piece of shit subs and amplifier, like I said before, from a long time ago, installed it. It still sounds like shit, but it does the job. It doesn't sound too bad, but you know, if I had some fucking kicker subs or something, Alpine amp would be a hell of a lot better instead of fucking no-name shit, but it does the trick. So I'm going to leave the video at that. If you have any other questions, comments, or concerns, post them below. Otherwise, make sure your amplifier install is a lot cleaner than mine. Mine's a fucking rat's nest, but it's only temporary. So, thanks for watching.